Welcome back. I'm Ross, the editor at the Pirate Heart Press, and by now you realize you've reached the end of the line when it comes to the 4Gs. That's right, the 4 great pleasures. You've learned about good food, you've listened about great fun, you've heard about how great friends are important. Now we're going to get to the final of the 4Gs, the 4 great pleasures, as we say, the great sex. Yes, I said it, sex. It's a subject that people still cringe upon or look away from or talk about. When I get people to finally open up and talk honestly, it's an enlightening experience. But that's what we're going to talk about today. The final of the 4Gs, great sex. So, what is great sex? That's the question. And it's a hard question. It's an incredibly hard question because it's an individual question. And it requires that you ask it of yourself and you be honest with yourself about it. Great sex is many things to many people. When I get people to open up about sex, and I mean truly open up, not fill you up with the BS that they like to say because other people are listening. When you get down to the brass, great sex is defined many different ways by many different people. And you have to define it for yourself. But you shouldn't live without it. If you're human and you possess human genitals, sooner or later you're going to want to use them. And to use them, there's millions of manuals that can tell you how and why and what. But you have to decide the definition of what you like, what you want, what you'll give, and what you won't. And that's hard to do. And if you're having difficulties in your life or other things, then that affects your sex life too. So you really have to sit down. You had to sit down and define what good food was, what you think good fun is. You have to define what you will expect and take as good friends and how you'll be a good friend. Well, great sex is no different. You have to put thought into it. You have to be honest with yourself and honest with those around you and decide what it is that you think great sex is. Now, this leads up to another area that is a little off when it comes to what you would think great sex is, but it's the most important key part in great sex, and that is communication. Now? Okay. Yes, I said communication. Communication is there's all kinds of words that you can put in there. I have tons of them. I don't like to communicate. That's why I write. I let the writing do it. But you got to communicate with yourself. That's the key point. You got to be honest and communicate with yourself. You got to ask the questions. And then you got to provide the answers. You just can't ask the questions and walk away and expect somebody else to read your mind or figure it out for you. I've dealt with that before. Everybody has, where somebody expects you to already know or read your mind or whatever. And you reach my age, you're done with it. You talk. You know what you want, and you go after it. And that's the same with great sex. I didn't say good sex. I didn't say sex. I didn't say bad sex. I said great sex. What makes great sex for you requires that you communicate with yourself, with your partners, with your partner, with whoever. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not sleeping with you, so I don't really care. This is about you. I have my definitions, and I have my communication, and I keep my communication lines open. And that's an important deal. That's something I really need to stress. Because as you develop in your relationships, things change. We all know they change. You go from that, oh my God, hot, passionate sex in all the rooms because it's all brand new to, okay, what are we going to do now? Everything changes, and you have to change with it. And the unfortunate aspect about that is you got to keep the lines of communication open with yourself and be honest when things change, and with those that you're having sex with, because things are going to change for them too. Because otherwise it just gets stale and you'd rather sit there and eat potato chips and watch TV than go in the bedroom. or do the living room or whatever. The message is simple. If you want to have great sex, you have to communicate with yourself and with others. And that's about it. We could talk about this subject for days. I do an entire lecture series on the entire 4Gs that goes into detail on all of them. This is just a brief overview about great sex and about the 4Gs. And that's where we come to now, the end. You know what we feel are the 4 great pleasures in life, and those 4 great pleasures are what we believe are needed in order to live a fulfilling life, a full life. Some will disagree. I hope they do, because at least they're listening and they're deciding to do something else, even if they think I'm totally full of it. Think about your life. Think about what you think makes it a full life. And if the 4Gs aren't what makes you tick or fill you, then great. Find what does and do it. I'm Ross, the editor at the Pirate Art Press, and I'm out.